clock on the wall tells us it's time for another episode of Learn, Teach, Lead, where we explore how educators just like you are using innovative instructional strategies, including how to leverage AI to improve teaching and learning.
Each week, we share real classroom stories, tools, and tips to help you save time, personalize instruction, and lead with confidence.
I'm Jeanine Nostrum, an elementary school principal.
And I'm Robyn D'Angelo, an elementary school teacher. Let's get started with today's Friday debrief.
Okay, Robyn, I am so excited for this Friday debrief because I know you have been doing a lot of amazing work in your class. Do you want to get us started with your fabulous moment of the week?
Of course. So in fourth grade, we just got done reading the book Because of Winn-Dixie. And it was the first time I actually have ever read this book. So I really enjoyed, the book. And I really thought it would be a lot of fun if we brought the book to life. And what a better way to learn for students and to be involved than to actually be involved, and be outside doing in our learning classroom outside in our beautiful garden, and really celebrate literature. So my moment of the week, my fabulous moment of the week is that we brought literature to life in our garden, and we had a Gloria Dump, if you know the book, backyard party. And we had Dump Punch, which was a little, juice and seltzer water. And we had some litmus lozenges, which were AKA Dum Dum Lollipops. And the fun part is I don't play guitar, but I played the guitar yesterday and the students were singing and laughing. And we were talking about friendships and how we can grow as a friend and how we could, just be kind to each other. And just all of these kind of feelings and kindness and friendships really grew, which is our theme this year, into something beautiful in our garden. And the students really brought that literature to life, that ending scene in Because of Winn-Dixie. And honestly, it was a wonderful, fabulous moment for the fourth grade.
Oh, that's great, Robyn. And yes, I have read Because of Winn-Dixie, and it's a book just filled with a lot of beautiful, bittersweet emotions, and a lot of discussion around that and character development and all of that. So it must have been a really nice experience to go out and just celebrate sharing that story together as a class. And certainly the pictures and videos that you sent me were adorable and they looked like they were having a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure with a little practice, you'll be quite the guitar player, but you were faking it really beautifully. And I couldn't hear the guitar anyway because the kids were all singing at the top of their lungs. So they were having a blast for sure.
Listen, my growth mindset is I can't play the guitar yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe on one of our last episodes, I'll serenade everybody out with my guitar playing.
Everyone should have a teacher like Mrs. D'Angelo. I'm telling you. And these are the moments that they're going to remember, right? They're one day they'll be reading Because of Winn-Dixie to their kids, and they'll have a beautiful memory of celebrating reading that book in fourth grade. So that's a beautiful moment. Thank you. I can't top that. I wanted to say, do I have a fabulous moment of the week?
You have many fabulous moments of the week. You had a beautiful assembly today.
Oh my goodness, yes, that was my fabulous moment of the week. We had parents and students put on a gorgeous assembly this afternoon, celebrating the holiday of Diwali, and it was just so lovely. And I love seeing kids dance who normally you don't see them, doing those types of activities in school. The beautiful outfits that they were wearing and just sharing their special customs and traditions for their holiday. It was really lovely. I love these homegrown assemblies. If there are any principals out there, I'd highly recommend that you save your money for these canned assemblies that you can purchase and let your PTA create their own assemblies. Get the families involved. The kids love it. And they're our favorites now. They really are. We do one for the Lunar New Year, which is also fabulous. And now this Diwali one, I hope we do it every year. It's just terrific. So yes, thank you.
Yes,
I couldn't even think of a fabulous moment. It has been such a busy week, but that was definitely the highlight. Thank you.
It sure is a wonderful sense of community that you have built in this school. So kudos to you.
Thank you. So we want to go into our, talking about the work that you've been doing in the classroom, because this is definitely a small, what is it? Small shifts, big ripple. This is
Yes.
definitely fits that description. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about the work you've been doing in your classroom? I cannot wait. And we made a point of not to talk about it during the week, so we have our real authentic reactions here.
Yes.
So go ahead and unpack. I can hardly.
Today's small shift, big ripple is called the edit loop. And I'm super excited to talk about it today because it really turned editing in my class into an opportunity for personal, targeted instruction. So here we go. Step one. In my classroom, writing isn't just about drafting and fixing material or mistakes. It's about creating loops of learning. And the edit loop helped my students immensely take ownership of their writing through one revision at a time. So the first step of the editing loop is self-edit. And students were writing the opening into their narrative story. And we wanted to really take a close look on it based on the data that I had received in the past, where they had to fix their openings, because third grade to fourth grade opening of a narrative is very different in the standard. So day one, the students typed their opening and completed a self-edit. So right here in front of you, I have what they use to edit their opening paragraph. And this is based on the NJSLA and the NJSLS standards. So they went through, they highlighted, things that they felt that they needed to fix. They added and they edited. This was their first edit loop, and it was a chance to reflect, notice what's working, and begin building stamina as independent writers. Their second editing loop is when I joined them on their second round. We edited together. This stage was powerful because it turned feedback into a dialogue, not a correction. I modeled how to strengthen openings, vary sentences, and clarify ideas based on this rubric that was in front of them. So we took their ideas, combined it with my ideas. I made notes next to their categories that they highlighted. I gave them suggestions to go back and fix. I gave them ideas that they could, think about as they edited and revised. And by the end of the day, the students were finishing their openings, and they were stronger and clearer and more confident. So here is opening for their narrative before the third loop. So the first loop was self-edit. The second loop, I joined them. The third loop is where AI came in. And I brought AI into the third loop for me, not the students. My students never use AI in the classrooms. But I use AI because I like the non-biased opinion and the real-time data that it gives me, as well as looking at the learning trends for this student. So each student that I looked at is going to receive personalized targeted instruction from ChatGPT after I look at it and make sure that I screen it, that it's okay for students to see. So that afternoon, I took their first version. After they reflected and edited, we reflected and edited, and then I ran it through ChatGPT. It was a cold afternoon. My brother Daniel and I were outside playing in the snow. Also, our mom and dad were on vacation. Daniela, are you hungry? Because I am. My stomach was growling, so I reached into my pocket for the keys, but all I found was dust and snow. Daniel, I left the keys inside and locked the doors. I screamed. I started to panic, and I asked Daniel, what are we going to do? So we wanted for a miracle. And I think wanted was supposed to be waited. I think that was just a typo. So that was after the 2 edits that we did, them and us and me together. Then I used ChatGPT and I gave it a prompt, and it said, please give me glows and grows for the student's opening paragraph for narrative writing based on the NJSLS for grade 4. And I love to talk about glows first because it's truly important for students to build their confidence with writing. Give me the feedback in a student-friendly language with specific skills. And then I gave a little bit of what I talked about with the student and I observed in class that day. This student has a good work ethic, time management skills, and uses the BMMME with Be It organizer to plan. This student can generate ideas through brainstorming and put ideas in a logical sequence. Are you ready to give me feedback on the opening paragraph of the narrative writing? Yes, I'm ready. Please share. Here's what I just read you. Here are their glows. Strong beginning, dialogue brings the scene to life, logical sequence. And here are their grows. What can we work on? Sentence variety and punctuation, add sensory detail, strength and transition, basic fourth grade standards that that we're continuing to work on through the year. Build emotion. Then I said, I would like a student to have a personalized pathway. And this was, I'm just kind of replicating my, chat that it gave me last night. And it said, I said, I'd like this student to have a personalized pathway for tomorrow's class based on something a targeted skill that they can fix. So here's what they gave me. The sensory detail and word choice would be their focus. The mini lesson would be adding sensory image. The task would be to highlight one sentence and add a smell, sound, or feeling detail to do it. And the goal was for the student today, let's make a reader feel the cold with you. So I took these focused learning plans and they were on each student's desk today at school because I asked ChatGPT yesterday to give me one for each of my students. Now these are targeted, they're differentiated, and they're clear. And this was their due now today. And I call it a personalized pathway because it is a personalized pathway. Each one is very different. So they use this personalized feedback to edit one more time today, this time with this plan. And this is their last edit in the loop, the blend of targeted instruction and student-driven revision. So each student's goal was unique. And because the feedback was so personalized, every student felt seen, challenged, and capable in my class today. So here's the student's version after the personalized pathway. And I, again, copied and pasted it into ChatGPT. And I asked it to give me the second revised, I told her I was going to give them the second revised version after the personalized feedback. And here it is. I copy and pasted it. And here is their comparison. And this was, I was super excited to see only in one short day, they went from before to after. And you can see that they added sensory details. It was cold afternoon before, but the snow was so cold and I saw my breath. Their description was limited, but they added vivid words like soft and cold. Their flow improved slightly with more descriptive pacing by using a comma. So they, looked at their piece grammatically as well. This new sensory words help create more of an atmosphere of cold, so their mood changed. And I like how it gives me this chart because it notes the growth just from this focused, targeted instruction. It glowed after. So it gave them more glows, which I didn't even share with them yet. And then next steps, because of course we're continuously learning. And this is an ongoing learning trend in fourth grade. But the more targeted I feel like I can give to my students, and the more instruction that I can give targeted, the better off my students I feel will succeed. So that's why I took the time to do this edit loop in my class, because I feel like personalizing and targeting and differentiating equals success. And could I do this without AI? Absolutely. I did the first two loops, but it just gave me another non-biased a lens for my student, and gave them some also feedback that they use to improve their writing. So if you want to try this, it's definitely manageable. And, start slow. Do one, and one leads to two, and two leads to 21. And that's my goal today, and I accomplished it.
I'm going to interrupt you for a
Yes,
second
please.
just to wrap my mind around this.
Yes.
So the first thing you did was run, the data for each student along with their opening, right? And you got feedback on that in terms of a personalized pathway. So you asked ChatGPT to tell you what to teach next, right? To give you a focus, a mini lesson, a task, and a goal. You have 21 kids in your class. So during one class period, they were all able to come up to you, or did it take more than one class period? How did that go?
So when they wrote, they were all able to come up to me during that one class period because they already had edited.
Oh, okay.
So they edited first. They came up to me. I gave them feedback.
Okay.
They went back and edited, and then they turned it in.
Okay.
So that's manageable in a 40-minute period.
Okay. Okay. So then you went home that night.
Yep.
You copied what they were saying. You dropped it into their paragraph, right? Their opening paragraph. You dropped it into ChatGPT. Are you using the microphone feature, or are you typing?
I copied and pasted their writing into it, but then I used the microphone feature to give my feedback.
That's how you're able to do it so quickly. You're using the microphone, right?
Yes.
So you're talking to ChatGPT, like saying, "Oh, I'm looking at this piece, and you know what? I noticed this kid really needs to work on like that type of thing." So it goes quickly.
Right.
Aren't you smart? Very good. I love it.
Another amazing thing that you can do after you do this edit loop, and you compare writing before the edit loop and then at the end of the edit loop, you can go back and you can look at the student's one-page snapshot, the one that we talked about in our last episode of seeing the whole child. If you didn't check it, if you didn't see it, go check it out, because it's truly amazing how to do these one-page snapshots. So how can I now see if the student is progressing? I have their one-page student snapshot, which I made this nice little chart. If anybody has any other suggestions besides Google Docs, because I like it, but I don't know if I love it, because it's a lot of data to go into this table, because I want it ongoing from column to see the growth. But I start out with their student one-page snapshot, and then I added the data from their edit loop today. So if I click on here, it'll take me here. And this was their one-page student snapshot. And I want to take this just for curiosity. And I'm just going to copy and paste the ELA portion, because I do have ELA and math in here. But I want to see if I put this into ChatGPT and I say, I am going to provide you with the student snapshot of ELA for the beginning of the year for this student. Can you give me a comparison of growth? Oh, spelled comparison wrong. Of growth in ELA, particularly with narrative writing, from then to this last assignment you just gave me, and then now it says on. Dot, dot, dot. Are you ready for the snapshot? Now, I always kind of ask them if they're ready because I just like to prompt ChatGPT that way. Control V, and here's that snapshot that I gave in the beginning of the year when this student first came in September. Let's see if that gives me a comparison, which I'm super excited to see. Beginning, here was the voice. Still demonstrates a confident voice. Excellent. Growth remains a core strength. Students transferring creativity into a realistic emotional grounding. So this was, remember, from the first pre-assessment narrative to now this piece of writing that I just scored. Just look at the learning trend. Story wandered, unrelated events, now uses clear sequence, setting, problem, locked out, reaction, significant growth in structure and focus just based on the targeted instruction that I've been giving with my narrative unit based on the data I've been collecting. Used dialogue but lacked internal thinking, uses dialogue and reaction, improved use of dialogue and emotion, frequent run-ons, fewer run-ons, developing control, limited sensory language, added vivid imagery. Oh, we worked a lot on that. Targeted growth achieved. Woohoo! Told events quickly with little emotion, slows pacing, shows emotion, improved emotional awareness. Teacher summary. Since the beginning of the year, the student has demonstrated strong growth in narrative structure, sensory description, and emotional development. Initially, their writing showcased a playful voice and cultural creativity, but lacked clear organization and reflection. Through the use of BMMME planning and the Be It strategy, the student now writes with focused beginning, introduces a realistic conflict, and conveys emotions through dialogue and pacing. Sentence structure has improved, and the student has begun to apply personalized feedback. Ooh, I love it. On sensory detail and word choice, enhancing overall clarity and tone. Continue work on punctuation, accuracy, and deeper emotional reflection will further strengthen their narrative voice. And it also gives me student-friendly growth, which is amazing to share with students. So therefore, that was super fun to see how from the beginning of the year in September, the second week maybe, to now October 17th, so maybe 6 weeks, you had that growth. And, using these things like the editing loop and targeted instruction and really that personalized pathway is really helping my kids at least be successful. So if you want to try any of them, don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions. We would love to, chat with you.
Absolutely. That's wonderful, Robyn. And I think the tricky part for us as teachers is, we've spent weeks now talking about how we gather data, but it's the organizing it into a system that you can efficiently use to, plan your instruction and progress monitor. And so, I think what you're doing is wonderful. I'm still wondering if there is a more efficient way so you're not doing so much copying and pasting, if there's a way to leverage AI to automate it. And I see you're using a doc here, which, I get that's probably where I would have started too. But I'm wondering if maybe Google Sheets would be better so we can see the whole class in a workbook format, and continually add on to it because although I mean, I guess it depends what you're comfortable with, but I just feel like as you're going to have we're doing one assignment now, but wouldn't it be great to track this across the year? I feel like the larger this file gets as a Google Doc, it might be trickier to work with than a Google Sheet. So if anybody out there has any ideas or suggestions, or if you've tried something, certainly, share it with us because we're experimenting. We're trying to learn, teach, lead. And we'd love to learn from you and give some of those ideas a try as well. But I'm thinking maybe playing around with a Google Sheet. And I say that because one of our very talented teachers here at the ranch was sharing a sheet that she created. And what she was doing was taking the information from that sheet and linking it so it would kind of mail merge to
Yeah.
to the template to make the one-page snapshot. And so, but both ways are perfectly
Yeah.
valid. I guess it depends on what you're comfortable with. I just worry about this document getting big over time.
I also worry about that too. And again, this is all new to us, and we're
Yeah.
all, kind of just trying this. But the reason why I was thinking that, because I was talking to the teacher that was doing the other way as well. So for me, I feel like this is added to this.
Yeah.
This will be added to this column.
Got it.
This column will be added to this column. So it's kind of like that. We started here gathering information. Now we're starting to refocus that information.
Right.
So I feel like for me, I like to see it grow,
Sure.
but I don't know if this is the best way. So if somebody's out there, please help us.
But now that I said that, maybe
I don't know.
the document doesn't have to grow so big, because you could just keep that one document for narrative writing, and
Right.
perhaps start a new document when you go into informational writing or literary analysis, and then you could kind of manage it that way. But so exciting to be able to get this much personalized instruction in such a short amount of time. I'm really excited by this. And this is just one little piece of the fabulous things you're doing during the day. So, but it's wonderful to have an opportunity to share it with everyone.
And again, listen, we use it equitably, and we use it as neat, as we feel important. But differentiation is important. And as a teacher, it's hard to reach 21 students at the same time while working in small groups and working one-on-one. Like I said, we need to be cloned. So we're not. So, this was a really great way, I thought, to reach 21 students today at the same time, and yet still meet them and help them.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell us what your power move for the week is?
Oh, my power move. I got to get to my power move. My power move. I love this power move. Okay, so we call it the word web in my class. And, again, supporting that narrative writing and looking at synonyms, right? Because we're trying to do these openings and craft these middles. And, fourth grade vocabulary is still being developed. Everybody's vocabulary, I think, is still being developed, including mine. But we want them to try to not use the word over and over and over again for repetitiveness in writing. So, for example, if the word is hot, I take a ball of yarn. We all sit in a circle, and I say hot. I throw the ball of yarn to the next person with the string going to them. So now I hold the string, but they catch the ball. And they say scorching. And now they take the ball and throw it to somebody else. They hold that piece of string. They throw the ball to somebody else. They could say a sentence like, I was dripping in sweat.
Right.
And then they hold it. So honestly, by the end of this lesson, it is so fun, because it is such a wonderful word web of string. And they've really mastered the concept of, we cannot always say the same thing. We need to build our vocabulary, have synonyms, and really use that show, not tell in our writing, and look at how we all connect together with all of these wonderful words. So a great Halloween, to do that for Halloween as well, with these, during this time of year, with your words and your narratives. But the kids really seem to like it, and it really shows the connectiveness of the class and how important vocabulary is.
Oh, that's nice. Robyn, you find a way to gamify everything. I absolutely love it. No wonder the kids are always so happy and engaged in your classroom. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it also presses them to think, because, it's hard to think up synonyms for vocabulary words. So I'm sure it was a very exciting task. So my power move of the week is for everyone out there to think about what Robyn just showed you, and think in your classroom, how would you organize this information? Would you use a Google Doc? Would you use Google Sheets? And then come back and tell us, because we want to learn from you. We're interested to hear how others might organize all of this information to create personalized learning paths and leverage AI to do so. Well, that old clock on the wall tells us it's time to wrap up another episode of Learn, Teach, and Lead, our Friday debrief. We've shared a few lessons, unpacked a few stories, and maybe sparked a few new ideas for your classroom or your leadership journey.
As always, we hope you'll take what you've learned, teach it forward, and lead with purpose. Thanks for spending part of your week with us. We'll see you next time.